My name's Emily, and I'm 29. Picture me at a family dinner, the kind where laughter should fill the air. Instead, my sister-in-law, Hannah, slides a photo across the table, her smirk sharp as a blade. It shows me with a man cropped to look like I'm cheating. My heart drops as whispers ripple around me. She says my husband Nathan can skip the $20,000 he owes me now. Betrayal stings worse than I imagined. I stay silent, my phone heavy in my hand. Have you ever felt trust crumble? Share where you're watching from in the comments, and let's unpack this together. Like and subscribe. The dining room in Nathan's childhood home smells of roasted chicken and old wood, but the warmth of the oak table can't cut through the chill settling over me. I'm Emily, still reeling from Hannah's photo, my pulse hammering in my ears. The framed pictures on the walls, Nathan as a gap-toothed kid, mock me with their nostalgia. Everyone's staring forks paused midair. My mother-in-law? Clara's lips are tight, her eyes darting to Nathan, who's studying his plate like it holds the secrets of the universe. My cousin Lily's hand brushes mine under the table, a small anchor in this storm. Hannah leans back, her blonde hair catching the chandelier's glow, and crosses her arms. I told you, Clara. Emily's been sneaking around with this Marcus guy. That photo's just the start. Her voice is smooth, practiced, like she's been waiting for this moment. Ethan, her younger brother, smirks from across the table, his broad shoulders hunched like he's in on a private joke. Saw her myself at that company picnic, he says, voice low but sharp, all cozy with him by the drink table. I swallow hard, my throat dry as sandpaper. That's not true, I say, but my words come out shaky, barely above a whisper. It was a work lunch, Hannah. You know that. My sister was there. I look to Nathan, waiting for him to back me up to tell them it's nonsense. He's always been quick with a smile, a charm that could diffuse anything. But he just shifts in his chair, his jaw tight, and mutters, I don't know what to think, Em. My stomach twists. I flash back to 2 years ago, sitting on our tiny apartment couch, handing Nathan the check for $20,000. His business was crumbling, and he looked at me like I was his lifeline, his green eyes soft. You're saving us, he'd said, kissing my forehead. I believed him, believed in the life we were building. Now his silence feels like a slap. Clara clears her throat, her silver hair catching the light. Emily, we trusted you. Nathan's been nothing but good to you. Her voice is calm but cold, like she's already made up her mind. I want to scream that I'm the one who trusted, who gave everything. Instead, I grip the edge of the table, my knuckles whitening. Lily leans closer, her voice a fierce whisper. She's been talking about you for weeks, Em, spreading lies to everyone. I glance at Hannah, who's watching me like a cat with a cornered mouse. There's another photo, she says, tapping her phone with a manicured nail. Worse than the first. You really think you can talk your way out of this? Her words land like a punch, and I feel the room shrink, the walls closing in. Ethan chuckles, and Clara's frown deepens, but Nathan's still avoiding my eyes, his fingers drumming on the table. I think about the late nights he's been working, the vague excuses about client meetings. The way he's been checking his phone more, turning it face down when I'm near. A seed of doubt takes root, not about Marcus, but about Nathan. Has he been planning this with Hannah? I shake my head, trying to focus. I need to explain to make them see the truth. Marcus is a coworker. I say louder now, though my voice cracks. We were never alone. Hannah, you were at that lunch. You saw us. Hannah laughs, sharp and brittle. Oh, Emily, don't play innocent. You've been after Nathan's money from the start. Her words sting, and I feel heat flood my face. I want to grab that phone, see this so-called second photo, but my hands are trembling too much. Lily's grip tightens on my arm, her eyes urging me to fight, but I'm drowning in their stares, their judgment. I push my chair back, the scrape loud in the quiet room. "I need a minute," I mumble, standing on shaky legs. My phone's in my pocket, heavy with the recording app I started months ago, back when Nathan's promises about the loan started feeling hollow. I head for the bathroom, my breath hitching Lily's footsteps soft behind me. The door clicks shut, and I lean against the sink, staring at my reflection. My brown eyes look haunted, my cheeks flushed. I check the app still running, capturing every word from that table. I don't know what I'll do with it yet, but it's all I have. The bathroom smells faintly of lavender soap, but it does nothing to calm the storm in my chest. I'm Emily. Staring at my phone, the recording app's red timer ticking up. Lily's beside me, her dark curls spilling over her shoulders, her voice low and urgent. "Hannah's been at this for weeks, Em. She's got Clara wrapped around her finger, whispering about you behind your back." Her words hit like a cold wave, and I grip the sink, my reflection pale in the dim light. I think back to the day I gave Nathan that money, how he'd spun dreams of a house kids, a life we'd build together. His hands were warm, his promises solid. Now those memories feel like lies. I shake my head, trying to focus. Why is Nathan letting her do this? I whisper, my voice cracking. Lily hesitates, then says, "I heard Hannah talking to Ethan about Clara's will. They're scared you'll get a cut." My stomach lurches. Clara's inheritance, the family's obsession, has always simmered beneath the surface. I never cared about it, but the idea that they're scheming to cut me out to paint me as some gold digger makes my blood boil. I open my mouth to reply, but a sharp knock on the door cuts me off. "Emily, come out." Hannah's voice snaps, dripping with fake concern. "We're not done talking." Lily grabs my arm, her eyes fierce. "Don't let her bully you. You've got that recording. Use it." I nod, but my legs feel like jelly as I open the door. "Hannah's waiting." Arms crossed, her lips curled in a half smile. "Running away won't help," she says loud enough for the dining room to hear. I glance past her, seeing Clara's stiff posture, Ethan's smug grin, and Nathan still hunched over his plate, his phone now tucked away. Back at the table, I sit, my hands clammy. Hannah doesn't miss a beat. "You've been playing Nathan from the start, haven't you?" she says, her voice slicing through the quiet. "That loan was just a way to trap him, and now you're off with Marcus thinking you'll walk away with more." Her words are venom, and I feel every pair of eyes bore into me. Clara nods slightly, her disapproval heavy, and Ethan leans forward, adding, "She's got no shame, Mom. I told you she was trouble. I want to scream to tell them I gave Nathan everything, my savings, my trust." Instead, I force my voice steady. I lent Nathan that money because I believed in him. I've never asked for anything but what he promised. My words sound weak, drowned by Hannah's scoff. "Believed in him," she mocks. "You're the one sneaking around. We all know what you are." My chest tightens and I glance at Nathan, desperate for him to say something, anything. He lifts his head, his eyes meeting mine for the first time, but they're empty, like he's already checked out. "Emily, I need time to process this," he mumbles, his voice hollow. "It's not a defense, not even close. It's a dodge, and it cuts deeper than Hannah's accusations." I notice his phone light up again, a quick flash before he flips it over. My mind races. Who's texting him? Is it Hannah coordinating this ambush? The thought makes my skin crawl. I clench my fists, nails digging into my palms, and feel the weight of my phone in my pocket. The recording's still going, catching every lie, every betrayal. I want to play it now to shatter their smug certainty, but something holds me back. I need to be sure to have more than just this moment. Clara speaks, her voice soft but firm. "Emily, I raised Nathan to be honest. If you've betrayed him, I can't look at you the same. Her words are a knife twisting into the grief I still carry from losing my dad. I want to tell her she's wrong, that her son's the one lying, but my throat closes up. Ethan chimes in. She's not even denying it, Mom. That says enough. Lily's foot nudges mine under the table, a silent push to fight back, but I'm frozen, the room spinning. Hannah's smile widens, sensing my weakness. We're just getting started, she says, tapping her phone again, hinting at more evidence. My heart pounds, anger and fear colliding. I'm losing them, losing everything I thought this family was. But my phone, warm against my thigh, holds the truth. I just need the courage to use it. The dining room feels like a trap, the candlelight flickering across faces that now seem foreign. I'm Emily. My hands still trembling from Hannah's latest jab, her threat of more evidence hanging heavy in the air. The oak table, once a place for shared stories, is now a stage for my humiliation. Lily's nudge under the table keeps me grounded, but my chest burns with a mix of rage and hurt. Nathan's silence, his refusal to meet my eyes, cuts deeper than any of Hannah's words. Hannah taps her phone, her smile sharp. Let's see the real Emily, she says, sliding it toward Clara. The screen glows with a new photo, me hugging Marcus at a work fundraiser, my arms around his shoulders, his smile wide. It's cropped tight, stripping away the crowd, the charity banner, the moment I was thanking him for covering my shift when I was sick. This was no work lunch, Hannah says, her voice dripping with venom. You're not fooling anyone. Clara's gasp is soft but piercing, her hand clutching her necklace. Emily, how could you? She asks, her voice trembling with disappointment. Ethan leans back, arms crossed, his smirk growing. Told you, Mom. She's been playing Nathan for a fool. I open my mouth to explain, to say Marcus was just a friend, that the hug meant nothing, but Hannah cuts me off. Save it, she snaps. We all see what you are. My face burns, the heat spreading to my ears. I want to grab that phone, smash it against the table, but my hands are glued to my lap. I look at Nathan, begging him with my eyes to say something, to tell them it's a lie. He's slouched in his chair, his fingers tapping nervously, his green eyes fixed on the tablecloth. I notice a small tattoo on Hannah's wrist, a tiny anchor, and my stomach twists. Nathan got the same one last summer, said it was for his dad. The coincidence feels wrong, like a puzzle piece I can't place. Marcus helped me when I was struggling, I say, my voice shaking, but louder now. That's all. You're twisting it, Hannah. She laughs, a cold, brittle sound. Struggling? Is that what you call sneaking around behind Nathan's back? Her words are a blade, and I feel them slice through the last threads of my composure. Clara shakes her head, her eyes welling up. My son deserves better, she says, and the words hit like a punch, dragging up memories of my dad. 5 years ago, when Dad passed, I sat in a hospital room, his hand cold in mine. Nathan was there, holding me, promising to be my family. We're in this together, he'd said, his voice steady. Now that promise feels like ash. Clara's words echo, twisting the knife. Your father would be ashamed, Emily, she says, her voice low but firm. He raised you to be honest. I bite my lip, the taste of blood sharp, fighting the urge to scream that she doesn't know. My dad doesn't know me. Lily's hand tightens on my knee, her eyes fierce, but I can't look at her. The room feels smaller, the air thick with judgment. I think about the recording in my pocket, the truth it holds, but I'm not ready to play it. Not yet. Hannah's still talking, her voice a relentless hammer. You thought you could take Nathan's money and run, she says, leaning forward. But we're done letting you manipulate this family. My heart pounds, anger surging past the hurt. I want to tell them about the nights I stayed up balancing Nathan's books, believing in his dreams. I want to shout that I'm the one who's been betrayed, but my words stick trapped behind the lump in my throat. Nathan shifts his chair, creaking, and I catch a flicker of something in his eyes. Guilt, maybe, or fear. It's gone too fast to be sure, but it fuels the fire in my chest. Whatever they're hiding, I'll find it. The air in the dining room is suffocating, like I'm breathing through a straw. I'm Emily, my heart hammering so loud I'm sure they can hear it. Nathan's avoidance, his fidgeting hands, feels like a confession of guilt. Hannah's still holding her phone, her eyes gleaming with victory, while Clara's disappointment weighs on me like a stone. Lily's touch is the only thing keeping me from bolting. I want to fight, to scream the truth, but my voice feels buried under their accusations. Nathan finally speaks, his voice low, almost rehearsed. I'm hurt, he says, rubbing his neck, still not looking at me. But maybe we can work through this if you let the loan go. His words are a gut punch, calculated like he's reading from a script. My mouth goes dry, realization dawning. This isn't just Hannah's game. He's in on it, orchestrating this to escape the $20,000 I gave him. My vision blurs, tears prickling, but I blink them back, refusing to let them fall. Hannah jumps in, her tone syrupy with fake pity. See, Nathan's willing to forgive you, Emily, but you need to come clean. She tilts her head, her blonde hair glinting, and I catch another glimpse of that anchor tattoo, its twin on Nathan's wrist, flashing in my mind. My stomach churns. Are they closer than I thought? I shake the idea away, but it clings, a splinter I can't ignore. Clara's voice cuts through sharp now. I can't believe I welcomed you into this family, she says, her hands folded tight. Nathan gave you everything, and this is how you repay him. Her words drag up memories of my dad's funeral, how Clara hugged me, promising to be my mother too. That warmth is gone, replaced by a coldness that makes my chest ache. I want to tell her I'm the one who gave, who poured my savings into Nathan's dreams, but my throat locks up. Ethan piles on, his voice smug. She's been planning this, Mom, probably laughing behind your back with that Marcus guy. His accusation lands like a slap, and I flinch, my hands clenching in my lap. I think about Marcus, his kind eyes, when he listened to me vent about work stress, nothing more. How did they turn that into this? My mind races, replaying every moment with Nathan, searching for cracks I missed. The late nights, the hushed phone calls, the way he'd brush off my questions with a smile. Was it all a lie? I catch a flicker of movement. Nathan's phone screen lights up again, a text flashing before he flips it over. I strain to read it, catching only, "She's done," and Hannah's name. My blood runs cold. They're coordinating right here in front of me. The betrayal sinks deeper, a knife twisting in my gut. I want to grab that phone, expose their messages, but my body feels heavy, like I'm sinking into the floor. Lily's whisper cuts through, urgent. Don't let them do this. But I'm paralyzed, my body heavy, my thoughts a tangle of rage and grief. I think of the money, the $20,000 I scraped together, believing in Nathan's dreams. I think of the nights I spent alone, justifying his distance, convincing myself it was stress. Every sacrifice, every trust, feels like a noose tightening around my neck. Hannah leans forward, her voice a hiss. You're not fooling us, Emily. Drop the act, or it's only going to get worse. Her threat hangs heavy, promising more lies, more photos, more pain. Clara's eyes narrow, and Ethan's smirk widens while Nathan stays silent, his betrayal louder than any words. My phone burns in my pocket, the recording capturing every second of this nightmare. I grip it, my knuckles white, knowing it's my only weapon. But right now, I'm paralyzed, the weight of their judgment crushing me. the truth feeling further away than ever. The dining room is a pressure cooker. The silence between Hannah's threats deafening. I'm Emily, my heart pounding like a drum, every nerve screaming to run or fight. The untouched plates, the flickering candles feel like props in a play where I'm the villain. Lily's foot presses against mine, a silent plea to hold on, but the weight of Clara's judgment, Ethan's sneer, and Nathan's cowardice is crushing me. My phone, heavy in my pocket, is my last lifeline, but I'm still frozen, drowning in their lies. Hannah's voice breaks the quiet, sharp and triumphant. "Let's end this charade," she says, tapping her phone again. She plays a voicemail, the distorted sound crackling through the room. A man's voice, supposedly Marcus, says, "Emily, I can't stop thinking about you. When can we meet again?" The words are a hammer slamming into my chest. Clara's hand flies to her mouth. Ethan's eyes gleam, and Nathan lets out a fake choked sob, his head in his hands. My stomach drops, bile rising in my throat. That's not Marcus. I know his voice, soft and steady from late-night work chats about spreadsheets, never anything more. This is a fake, a cruel patchwork of someone else's words. My mind races, catching a faint jingle in the background of the voicemail, the same quirky tune from the coffee shop where I met Marcus with my sister. They've stitched this together, twisted it to bury me. My hands shake, my vision narrowing to Hannah's smug face. "How dare you?" I whisper, but it's barely audible, lost in Clara's sharp demand. "Admit it, Emily," she says, standing, her voice trembling with fury. "You've disgraced this family. Tell the truth." Her words are a whip lashing at the raw wound of my dad's memory. I want to scream that they're the liars, that I've given everything to Nathan, but my throat feels sealed shut. Ethan leans forward, his voice low and vicious. "You're caught, Emily. Just own it and leave." Nathan's performance continues, his shoulders shaking with pretend grief. "I trusted you," he says, his voice breaking just enough to sound convincing. But I see his fingers still tapping nervously and the glint of his phone screen before he tucks it away again. My anger surges, a white-hot wave that burns through the fear. This isn't just about the money anymore. It's about tearing me apart, erasing me from this family to protect their secrets. I think of the nights I spent worrying about Nathan's business, the way I'd lie awake calculating how we'd recover. I think of the trust I poured into him, the love I thought we shared. It's all crumbling, and the realization is a physical pain, like my ribs are caving in. Lily's hand grabs mine under the table, her nails digging in her eyes wide with panic. She's whispering something, but I can't hear over the blood rushing in my ears. Hannah's still talking, her voice a relentless tide. "You've got nothing left, Emily. No one believes you." Her confidence is a blade, and I feel it slice through the last of my restraint. My fingers brush my phone, the recording app still running, capturing every lie. I want to play it to shatter their facade, but doubt creeps in. What if they twist that too? What if I'm not strong enough to face what comes next? Clara steps closer, her face a mask of betrayal. "Leave this house," she says, her voice cold as winter. "You're not welcome here." The words are a final blow, stripping away the family I fought to belong to. My legs tremble, my breath hitching, and I feel like I'm falling, the ground gone beneath me. Ethan's laugh, low and cruel, echoes in my ears, and Nathan's silence is louder than ever. I'm at the edge, my heart breaking, my resolve fraying, but something inside me snaps, a spark of defiance igniting in the chaos. That spark of defiance flickers, but the room's hostility smothers it. I'm Emily, teetering on the edge, my breath shallow, the dining room a blur of accusing faces. Clara's command to leave echoes in my skull, Ethan's laugh a jagged cut. Hannah's eyes glint with triumph, her phone still clutched like a weapon. Lily's grip on my hand is desperate, but I'm sinking, the weight of their betrayal pulling me under. My phone vibrates in my pocket, a lifeline I've clung to through this nightmare, and something shifts inside me, a spark, small but fierce, refusing to let them win. I straighten my breath, steadying, and meet Hannah's gaze. Her smirk falters just for a second, and I seize it. "You're wrong," I say, my voice low but clear, cutting through the room's tension. "I'm not the one who's been lying." Clara's head snaps up, her eyes narrowing, and Ethan's sneer fades. Nathan shifts his fingers, tightening around his glass, and I feel a surge of clarity like fog lifting after a storm. I pull out my phone, my hand steady now, and set it on the table. "I've got proof," I say, my words deliberate, each one a step out of the pit they've pushed me into. "Nathan, you want to tell them about the loan? Or should I—" His face pales, his jaw clenching, and I see a flicker of panic in his eyes. Hannah laughs, but it's forced her confidence cracking. "What more excuses?" she says, but her voice wavers. I think of the day I started recording months ago when Nathan's excuses about the loan grew flimsier. I'd sat in our kitchen, the clock ticking past midnight, his vague promises echoing in my mind. I'd opened the app on a whim, a quiet act of self-preservation, never imagining I'd need it like this. Now it's my shield. I have every text, every email I say, my voice gaining strength. And I've got you and Nathan on tape, Hannah planning to frame me. The room stills, the candles casting long shadows across their faces. Clara's hand drops from her necklace, her mouth parting slightly. Ethan leans forward, his bravado gone, and Nathan's fingers stop tapping his eyes locked on my phone. Lily's grip tightens, her breath catching, and I feel her belief in me a tether pulling me forward. I reach into my purse, pulling out a folded bank statement, the one I'd kept for months, proof of the $20,000 transfer to Nathan's account. I slide it toward Clara, my movements calm, deliberate. "This is the loan," I say, pointing to the time-stamped transaction, dated 2 years ago when Nathan said he'd turn his business around. He promised to pay me back. Clara's fingers tremble as she takes the paper, her eyes scanning the numbers. Hannah's face hardens, but she doesn't speak, and I know I've struck a nerve. Ethan shifts uncomfortably, his earlier smugness replaced by uncertainty. I turn to Nathan, my heart pounding, but my resolve ironclad. "Tell them," I say, my voice steady, cutting through his facade. "Tell them how you planned this with Hannah, how you used my money and then turned on me." He opens his mouth, stammering, You're twisting things," but his voice cracks, betraying him. I see the truth in his eyes, the guilt he can't hide, and it fuels me a fire I didn't know I had. Hannah lunges forward, her voice sharp. "You're desperate, Emily. No one's going to believe your lies." But her words lack the venom they held before, and I see Clara's gaze flicker to her questioning. I think of my dad, how he taught me to stand tall even when the world felt against me. His voice echoes in my mind, steady and sure. And I draw on it now, my strength building with every second. I'm not done, not broken, and I'm ready to fight for the truth.
The dining room hums with tension, my words still hanging in the air. I'm Emily, standing taller now, the bank statement in Clara's hands, a tangible piece of my truth. Nathan's stammering denial echoes in my ears, but I'm done waiting for him to save me. Hannah's faltering bravado fuels my resolve, and Lily's quiet strength beside me is a reminder I'm not alone. The candles flicker, casting jagged shadows, but I feel a clarity I haven't known in months, like I'm finally seeing the board in a game I didn't know I was playing. I take a slow breath, my voice steady as I face Nathan. "You don't get to rewrite this," I say, each word deliberate, cutting through his excuses. "I trusted you with everything, and you planned to ruin me to save yourself." His eyes widen, a flash of fear breaking through his mask, and I feel a surge of power, not loud or showy, but deep-rooted in the truth I've held too long.
Clara's fingers tighten on the bank statement, her gaze shifting to Nathan, her voice sharp. "Is this true?" she asks, her usual calm fraying. It's the first time she's questioned him tonight, and the shift in her tone sends a ripple through the room. Ethan's shoulders slump, his earlier swagger gone, and Hannah's face twists, her confidence unraveling. "She's manipulating you, Clara," she snaps, but her voice is thin, desperate. I pull my phone from the table, my thumb hovering over the screen. "I didn't want to do this," I say, looking at Clara, then Nathan. "But you've left me no choice." I open a folder, revealing a second recording one I made weeks ago during a heated argument in our living room. Nathan's voice had been careless, then admitting to Clara over the phone that he'd spent my loan on personal debts not his business. I'd saved it, a quiet act of self-protection, never imagining I'd need it here. "I've already talked to a lawyer," I say, my voice calm, but firm, like I'm laying bricks for a new foundation. "She told me to keep evidence to protect myself." "I'm filing for divorce, Nathan, and I'm suing for every cent you owe me." The words feel like a release, a weight lifting from my chest. Clara gasps, her hand trembling, and Ethan shifts uncomfortably, his eyes darting to the door. Nathan's mouth opens, but no words come, his face a mix of shock and guilt. Hannah lunges forward, her voice shrill. "You're bluffing," she says, but her hands are shaking, betraying her. I meet her gaze, unflinching. "Test me," I say, my tone quiet, but edged with steel. Lily lets out a soft breath, her hand squeezing mine, and I feel her pride, a warmth that steadies me. I think of my dad, how he'd stand up to anyone who crossed him, not with anger, but with a quiet certainty. I'm channeling that now, building something new from the ashes of this betrayal. Clara's voice breaks the silence, soft and broken. "Emily, I didn't know," she says, her eyes welling up. "It's not enough, not after her accusations, but it's a crack in the wall they've built against me." I nod, acknowledging her without softening. "You didn't ask," I say, my voice gentle but firm. Ethan stands abruptly, muttering something about needing air, and storms out, his footsteps heavy on the hardwood floor. I turn to Nathan one last time, my heart steady despite the ache. "This is over," I say, my words final, a door closing. I pick up my phone and the bank statement, slipping them into my purse, my movements deliberate. The room is silent, the candles burning low, and I feel a quiet strength settling in my bones. I walk toward the door, Lily at my side, my head high. I don't look back, but I feel their eyes on me, and in that moment my silence speaks louder than any words could.
Sure. Okay. Uh, uh, Lee.
Lingers in my mind. I'm Emily, sitting in my small apartment, the scent of coffee mixing with the musty smell of half-packed boxes. The walls are bare, My life stripped down to essentials, a stark contrast to the cluttered warmth of Nathan's family home. My phone sits on the kitchen counter, silent now, but I can still feel its weight from that night, the power it gave me when I laid my truth bare. Nathan's text started the next morning, a flood of apologies, promises to make things right. I messed up. Let's talk. One read his words hollow, like a salesman pitching a bad deal. I blocked his number, my thumb pressing the screen with a quiet finality. Each message felt like a hook trying to pull me back into his chaos, but I'm done being caught. My lawyer's email sits open on my laptop, confirming the lawsuit's progress. The evidence, my recordings, the bank statement stacked against Nathan like a house of cards ready to fall. I sip my coffee, the mug warm against my palms, and stare at a crack in the ceiling. I think of Clara's trembling hands, the way her eyes softened when she saw the bank statement. She called yesterday, her voice fragile through the static. "I've cut Nathan off," she said, her words heavy with regret. "He's not getting a dime until he makes this right." She offered to help with my legal fees, a gesture that felt like an olive branch, but I hesitated. Her betrayal still stings, her quickness to judge me a wound that hasn't scabbed over. I thanked her, said I'd think about it, and hung up. My heart caught between gratitude and wariness. The silence of the apartment is broken by a knock at the door. It's Lily, her arms full of takeout bags, her smile cautious but warm. "Thought you could use some company," she says, setting the bags on the counter. Her presence is a balm, a reminder of the family I still have. We sit on the couch, the springs creaking under us, and she tells me about Hannah's latest move posts on social media, vague but vicious, claiming I faked the recordings to ruin Nathan. She's saying, "You're the liar," Lily says, her voice tight with anger. "Some of our old friends are buying it." My chest tightens, a fresh wave of exposure washing over me. I think of the girls I grew up with, the ones who'd bring casseroles when Dad died now, whispering behind screens, questioning my character. The urge to fight back, to post my own truth flares hot, but I swallow it down. I've spent too long defending myself to shadows. Instead, I focus on Lily, her loyalty a lifeline. "Let them talk," I say, my voice quieter than I feel. The truth's coming out in court. I stand to clear the plates, my movements slow, and catch my reflection in the kitchen window. My eyes are tired, but there's a hardness there, a resolve I didn't have before. I think of the nights I spent replaying that dinner, every accusation, every glance, searching for where I went wrong. The guilt is still there, a dull ache, but it's overshadowed by a new certainty. I'm not the one who should be ashamed. Nathan and Hannah built this lie, and I'm tearing it down, brick by brick. Lily's voice pulls me back. "You're stronger than you know," she says, her eyes steady. I nod, but the words feel distant, like they belong to someone else. The apartment feels smaller, the walls closing in with the weight of what's coming: court dates, depositions, the public unraveling of my marriage. I'm moving forward, but the path is jagged, and every step feels like walking on glass. I sit back down, my hands still the quiet between us, heavy with unspoken fears. The quiet in my apartment feels fragile, like a held breath. I'm Emily, sitting across from Lily, the takeout containers now cold on the counter. Her words about my strength hang between us, but they don't settle. The weight of Hannah's social media lies clings to me, a shadow I can't shake. I glance at my laptop, the lawyer's email still open, a stark reminder of the fight ahead. The room smells faintly of soy sauce and cardboard, a new chapter I didn't choose. My phone buzzes, a new voicemail from an unknown number. I hesitate, then play it, keeping the volume low. It's Ethan, his voice rough, almost reluctant. "Emily, I shouldn't have piled on that night. I was wrong." He pauses, the silence heavy, then adds, "I'm sorry," before the call cuts off. I stare at the screen, my throat tight. His apology is a pebble in a storm too small to mend what's broken. I don't call back. Trust once shattered doesn't glue back so easily. I stand, moving to the window, the city lights blurring through the glass. My lawyer called earlier, her voice crisp with news they've traced my loan through Nathan's accounts, finding payments to Hannah's creditors. The money I gave for his business for our future was funneled to cover her debts. The betrayal cuts fresh a cold blade through my ribs. I think of their matching tattoos, the way they leaned toward each other that night, and wonder how long they've been a team against me. Lily watches me, her eyes soft but searching. "You okay?" she asks, her voice barely above a whisper. I nod, but it's a lie, and she knows it. The truth is, I'm unraveling each new piece of evidence, a thread pulling at the fabric of who I thought I was. I gave Nathan my heart, my savings, my future, and he traded it for his sister's schemes. The realization is a quiet ache, not loud or sharp, but deep, settling into my bones. I think of Clara, her offer to help still unanswered. Her health's been slipping. Lily mentioned the stress of this mess taking its toll. Guilt gnaws at me, a dull throb. She believed their lies turned on me, but she's frail now, caught in the fallout of her children's choices. I wonder if I should call, if forgiveness is something I owe her or myself. But the thought feels heavy, like lifting a stone I'm not ready to carry. The doorbell rings, startling me. It's a delivery, a small envelope with my name scrawled in unfamiliar handwriting. Inside is a note from an old coworker, Jenna, who saw Hannah's posts. "I know you, Emily," it reads. "You're not what they're saying. Stay strong." The words are kind, but they sting, a reminder of how far this lie has spread. I tuck the note away, my hands unsteady, and sit back down the couch, sagging under me. Lily reaches for my hand, her touch warm. "You're doing this," she says, her voice firm. I want to believe her, but the fight feels endless, a marathon I didn't train for. The lawsuit, the whispers, the fractured family. It's a web I'm still caught in. I look at her, then out the window, the city a maze of lights and shadows. My heart is heavy, not with anger now, but with a quiet sorrow, a grief for the life I lost. I'm still standing, but the ground beneath me feels thin, ready to give way. 6 months have slipped by since that night, and I'm Emily jogging through a park near my new place. The air crisp with spring. The path winds past budding tulips, their red and yellow petals bright against the green. My sneakers hit the gravel in a steady rhythm, each step a small rebellion against the chaos I left behind. The world feels quieter now, not peaceful exactly, but softer, like the edges of a wound starting to knit together. I'm not whole, but I'm learning to carry the pieces. I slow to a walk, my breath visible in the morning chill, and adjust the old leather watch on my wrist. It was Dad's, its face scratched but ticking faithfully, a relic of his stubborn grit. I used to wear it only on tough days, a talisman against fear. But now, it's a daily reminder. I'm still here, still moving. The park is alive with joggers and dog walkers, their chatter a distant hum, and I feel a strange comfort in being just another face in the crowd. My new routine is simple, carved out with intention. I work at a small marketing firm, a job I landed after weeks of interviews, my resume a patchwork of grit and desperation. The office is no frills with fluorescent lights and coffee that tastes like burnt toast, but it's mine, a space where I'm not Nathan's wife or Hannah's target. I'm just Emily good at crafting slogans quick with a smile. My paycheck goes to rent groceries and a savings account I'm building penny by penny for a future I can't yet see. I stop by a bench, stretching my calves, and let my mind wander. The lawsuit is winding down a slow grind of paperwork and depositions. My lawyer says we're close to a settlement, but the thought brings no thrill, only a dull relief. I think of the shelter where I volunteer on weekends, a low brick building filled with women starting over. Their stories echo mine, trust-broken lives upended, but their resilience is a mirror showing me my own. I help with resume workshops, my voice steady as I guide them, and in their nods, I find purpose, a quiet strength I didn't know I had. Lily's moved nearby her apartment just a few blocks over. We've been planning a trip, something small, maybe a drive to the lake where Dad used to fish. The idea feels fragile, like a promise we're afraid to make, but it's a spark of something good. I think of her laugh, the way it cuts through my darker days, and I'm grateful for her for the family we're building from scratch. The park's breeze carries the scent of damp earth, and I close my eyes, letting it ground me. A jogger passes her dog bounding ahead, and I open my eyes, my gaze catching on a pair of kids playing tag nearby. Their shrieks are carefree, a sound that tugs at me. I wonder about the life I imagined with Nathan, the kids. We might have had the home we'd fill with noise. That dream is gone, but the ache is softer now, less like a blade and more like a bruise. I'm learning to let it fade to make room for something new. I start walking again, my pace slow, my breath steady, the world feeling just a little lighter. The park fades behind me as I head home, the morning light spilling across the sidewalk. I'm Emily. My steps slow, the weight of Dad's watch a gentle anchor on my wrist. My apartment greets me with the faint hum of a radiator, its warmth, a quiet comfort against the spring chill. I set my keys on the counter, the clink soft, and notice a small envelope tucked under a stack of bills, its edges worn like it's been handled too much. I open it, my fingers careful, and find a letter from Clara, her handwriting shaky but clear. Emily. It begins. I failed you that night. The truth you showed me broke my heart, but it opened my eyes. Thank you. The words are simple, raw, written before her hospital stay last month. I read them again, my throat tight, not with anger, but with something softer, like the first thaw after a long freeze. I don't forgive her, not fully, but I feel the knot of resentment loosen just enough to breathe. I slip the letter into a drawer, not ready to decide what it means, and move to the stove, filling a kettle for tea. The routine is grounding the hiss of water, a steady rhythm. The lawsuit's nearly done, Nathan agreeing to repay half the loan to avoid a trial. My lawyer called it a win, but it feels more like closure, a door I'm ready to shut. I think of Hannah now, tangled in her own legal mess, her schemes unraveling. I don't wish her ill, but I don't pity her either. Her choices aren't mine to carry. I sit by the window, the tea's steam curling upward, and look out at the street below. A neighbor waves her toddler, tugging at her hand, and I smile, small but real. I've started hosting dinners with Lily and a few new friends, our laughter filling this tiny space, a stark contrast to that night at Clara's table. Those evenings are my new foundation, built on trust I've chosen, not inherited. I think of the shelter, the women I've met, their courage, a quiet fire that lights my own. The tea is warm against my lips, its bitterness softened by honey. I think of Nathan, a rumor from Lily that he's seeing someone new. The news stirs a faint pang, not for him, but for the version of me who believed in us. That Emily is gone, replaced by someone who knows her worth, who doesn't need a ring or a family's approval to stand tall. I set the mug down, my hands still, and feel a quiet shift, like a tide turning. I pull out a notebook, its pages half filled with scribbled thoughts, and write a single line. I am enough. The words are small, but they settle in me solid and true. I close the book, my gaze drifting to the horizon, where the city hums with possibility. The world is wide, and I'm ready to meet it, not as someone's wife or daughter-in-law, but as Emily Hole in my own right. I lean back, my breath slow, the morning wrapping around me like a promise. A year has passed, and I'm Emily standing in my new apartment, the morning light spilling through a window I've dressed with sheer curtains. The space is small, but it's mine, filled with the scent of fresh paint and the soft hum of a kettle on the stove. Potted herbs line the SIL basil thyme mint, each one a quiet victory proof. I can nurture something and watch it grow. My life now is simple, stitched together with intention, every choice, a step toward a version of me I'm still discovering. I move to the counter, pouring hot water over a tea bag, the steam carrying a faint chamomile sweetness. My mornings start like this, slow and deliberate, a ritual that grounds me. I work at the marketing firm, my desk cluttered with sticky notes and coffee mugs, but I've earned a promotion, a small raise that feels like a nod to my resilience. After work, I walk home through the city, the streets alive with vendors and laughter, and I let myself blend into the rhythm, no longer bracing for the next blow. The shelter has become my second home, where I spend Saturdays teaching women how to budget their eyes bright with determination. Last week, one of them, Maria, hugged me after landing a job, her gratitude a mirror to my own quiet pride. I'm not saving anyone, but I'm there listening, and it fills a space I didn't know was empty. My evenings are for reading, curled up on a thrift store couch, or for dinners with Lily and our small circle where stories flow as easily as wine. I sip my tea, the mug warm in my hands, and glance at a photo on the fridge, me and Lily at the lake last month. Our faces sunlit the water, shimmering behind us. That trip was our first, without the weight of the past, a weekend of fishing and quiet talks honoring Dad's memory. I smile, remembering how we laughed until our sides ached, a lightness I hadn't felt in years. The memory settles in me soft, but solid, like a stone smoothed by a river. The lawsuit is over Nathan's final payment, deposited last week. I sent a portion to the shelter, a choice that felt right, like closing a circle. The rest sits in my savings, a safety net I'm building for myself. I don't think of him much, but when I do, it's with a distant ache, like pressing a faded bruise. The family I thought I'd gained is gone, but I've found something else, a life I've chosen, built on my own terms. I walk to the window, looking out at the street below, where a delivery truck idles and a dog barks at a passing bike. The city moves on, and so do I, each day a small act of trust in myself. I'm not fearless, not healed, but I'm here, standing in a space I've made my own, the quiet of this moment, wrapping around me like a warm shawl. I breathe deep, the air clean, and feel ready to carry what comes next. The tea has cooled, but I hold the mug close, its faint warmth, a quiet comfort. I'm Emily, standing by my apartment window, the city's pulse steady below. This place, with its creaky floors and mismatched furniture, is more home than I ever expected. I've spent the last year rebuilding not just a life, but a sense of who I am. The scars from that night at Clara's table are still there, faint lines under the surface, but they don't define me anymore. I've learned to walk with them, to let them remind me of my strength. I set the mug down and move to a small wooden box on my shelf, its lid carved with simple swirls. Inside are keepsakes, a pebble from the lake trip with Lily, a thank you note from Maria at the shelter, a faded ticket stub from a concert I went to alone just because I wanted to. Each one is a marker proof of moments I chose for myself. I run my fingers over them, my touch light, and think about what I've carried through this year. Not just pain, but clarity, the kind that comes from seeing people for who they are. The lesson isn't loud or grand. It's this betrayal shows you the truth, not just about others, but about yourself. I used to think trust was something you gave blindly, a gift to prove your love. But now, I know it's a choice, one you make with eyes open, starting with yourself. I trusted Nathan too much, Hannah's lies too little, and my own voice not enough. That's changed. I listen to myself now, to the quiet instinct that told me to record, to stand, to walk away. It's not about being unbreakable. It's about knowing you can rebuild. I think of the women at the shelter, their stories woven with mine. We're not so different, all of us piecing ourselves back together, learning that worth isn't tied to who loves you or who stays. It's in the small acts, showing up, trying again, choosing to believe in tomorrow. I found compassion in that, not just for them, but for me, for the Emily who stumbled and still got up. Even for Clara, whose letter I keep a reminder that truth can shift even the hardest hearts, if only a little. I close the box, my hands steady, and sit at my table, pulling out a journal I've kept since the lawsuit ended. Its pages hold my thoughts raw and unfiltered, a map of where I've been. I write tonight, my pen moving slow. Freedom is choosing who I become. The words feel true, a quiet vow to live without fear of being seen. I'm not perfect, but I'm mine, and that's enough. The city hums outside, a reminder of life's constant motion. I lean back, my breath, even the weight of the past, finally resting light on my shoulders. I'm ready for what's next, not because I've won, but because I've learned to carry my own light. What's a moment that made you see yourself differently? Share it below. I'd love to hear your story. If this resonated, please like, subscribe, and share with someone who might need it. Thank you for being here, for listening. Here's to healing, to finding your own way, and to days that feel a little brighter. Take care.